lonely, ready or not, here I come, you can't hide. Gonna find me and make it lonely. Closing time, time for you to go out to the places we all come from. Just finish off your alcohol, finish off the topic. I hope you have found a friend. Oh, we live yet?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hello, folks. Jordan and Jen. A little.
Oh, hello.
Is anybody watching?
No.
All right. Give it a couple minutes for people to trickle in here. A little impromptu live stream as we continue on our road trip. 5 people are watching. Woohoo! 4th of July, or I say United Corporations of America Day. That's what we're really rejoicing. So we are still on the road. I won't go so in depth where we're headed next, to an undisclosed area in Ohio, should we say?
Sure.
Yeah. So we're staying over in Dayton.
What? You just said it.
You said sure, should I say?
No, I thought you meant should we say Ohio? And I was like, yeah.
Whatever. Staying over in Dayton, Ohio.
Don't come murder us.
Well, we won't say where. Then in the morning, we're headed to Louisville, Kentucky. Where we're going to cover the ongoing Black Lives Matter protests and calls for justice for Brianna Taylor. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Had a great interview earlier today with Ohio Council member in Akron, the city of Akron, Tara Samples. I'm still perspirating from that 95-degree weather. And this is what I love to do, actually getting out into the country, away from the coastal bubble. And we're having fun while also telling good stories. So figured we'd go live, do a little Q&A for those that are stuck at home on the 4th of July. And answer your questions, comments, concerns, ideas. Maybe you have a compelling story for the way back, because we're going to have to drive back at some point. And yeah, that's it. Oh, you're sending the text?
Yes, I'm sending a text right now, so you'll have to filibuster.
What should I do? Should I sing, or should I? You know, one thing I'll say while you're sending the text is, you know, it's very, very interesting going from New York further west, because a lot of these places, as you get to the Midwest, not a lot of people wearing masks even outside. It's really, really something. The masks have become the new culture war in America, and it's really, really sad. Every time we stop, you know, at a rest stop or a gas station or something like that, you see people walking around with no masks. We are wearing masks, but they're not. It's almost like they're living in an alternate bubble where there's nothing going on, no pandemic, and they don't realize, even if they're not worried about getting it, coronavirus, that they could be giving it to people, or they could have it and not even realize it. It's just a lot of people buying into, you know, that right-wing misinformation machine, that this is all, you know, a hoax, plandemic, that kind of stuff. So it's just really striking, because in New York, I mean, not everyone, but most people I see outside are wearing masks. Here, so far in Ohio, in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of people not wearing masks, which probably explains why we're seeing this massive increase of coronavirus cases all over the country. Arizona, Texas, Florida, the case counts continue, and Trump continues to tweet out nonsense about, well, the cases are going up because we're testing more, which is just simply not true. But that's what's going on. Do we have any? We're almost done sending the texts, because we want to take your questions, comments, concerns as we drive to our next location. I'm definitely looking forward to going to Louisville. Obviously George Floyd has gotten a lot of attention, and he should. But I think Brianna Taylor deserves a lot more attention. So that's the main reason we've decided to drive even further away from home. I think it added an extra 5 hours on our trip back to New York, because we just think this is really important. The fact that these police officers haven't been fired after killing her. The fact that only one of the officers, not fired, haven't been charged with a crime. Only one officer has been fired. The Louisville protesters have been demanding to defund the police, and the Louisville City Council actually just increased the police budget. It's truly, truly insane. So we're looking forward to going there and covering that, and just talking to people and showing you what's really going on in Louisville and beyond. Speaking of, we really appreciate, we've gotten a good amount of donations today, because this is certainly not cheap. So keep those donations coming. You could also go by going to statuscoup.com/road trip, statuscoup.com/road trip, where you could also see cool pictures Jenn's been taking, behind the scenes photos kind of thing. She's been taking of our interviews and where we go. You ready?
I am ready.
Hold on.
Just trying to spread the word a little bit.
Jenn's trying to spread the word that we're live. How many people we got watching?
Well, 64.
64?
It's building. It's
Building. Press the like button. Share this with other people. It's very, very rare that YouTube notifies people when we're live these days. And when we do several live streams in a day, it's even more rare that they notify. So what are the people saying?
All right. So I'll hold this for you because you're driving. Prelito 9mm says, shout out to you guys. Please be safe and happy you're back on the road and healthy. Jordan watching.
Which reminds me, more hand sanitizer.
Oh, yes. Hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Please be safe and glad you're healthy. Watching from Orlando, so I'm home and quarantine laying low. Thank you so much. People are saying they love our reporting. Happy Corporatism Day. Which Toyota is that?
RAV4, Lori Sheridan.
Shout out to Lori. Best ever.
By the way, this, I know a lot of people are anti-Israel, but my grandma, may she rest in peace, this is her tag. She volunteered in the Israeli army for like a week. Like polishing guns and something. So this makes my mom feel closer to my grandma. So
Very, very sweet. No Farah wants to know, how is the road trip?
honestly, when you are a small startup media company, when you don't have producers to like book guests in advance, when you don't have producers to like book your, where you're going to be staying, that kind of stuff, it could get a little hectic because you're literally booking things on the fly. You're reaching out to people. You kind of have to point it towards me. You're reaching out to people on the fly, like, hey, this is Jordan with Status Coup. In many cases, you have to first explain what the hell that is, because a lot of these activists and community leaders are rightly skeptical about the media. But it all seems to be coming together. We'd love to be doing, it is a little bit more difficult, this road trip versus others, because like in the past, for example, on a day like this, we would probably want to do interviews like inside somewhere with air conditioning. But since most places are closed down inside, and it's obviously at least a little bit safer outside in terms of coronavirus spread, we have to do all our interviews outside, which could make it tricky because it's really hot. It's like it was 95 degrees earlier when I was interviewing Tara Samples. And, you're sweating, this and that. There's also like, sometimes you're doing interviews. Like yesterday we were doing an interview in a park in Pittsburgh, and there was a lot of cars and like trucks coming by. So noise. But overall, the road trip's going great because there is no substitute for being out in the field. Like you really can't accurately report what people are going through, what's happening, what working people, average people are dealing with during this pandemic if you're not speaking with them directly, where they are. obviously we've been doing a lot more Skype interviews during the pandemic, and because it's been safer. But there really is no substitute for just going where people are and seeing what's happening. You know, interviewing the young couple yesterday in Pittsburgh, whose kid is 1.5, and they're both unemployed, and in a couple of weeks they're really going to be possibly off the cliff. Also, the restaurant workers we interviewed, we were having some microphone problems, but we'll be able to fix it when we edit it. We'll be able to fix the mic problems, hopefully. But interviewing them and seeing how restaurant workers in places like Pittsburgh and probably around the country have been dealing with like unsafe working conditions, their bosses trying to rush them back when they're not ready, when it's not safe, when these restaurants haven't adequately set up. You really can't set up in a lot of cases, adequate social distancing, because a lot of restaurants are crammed as it is. Air circulation, there's not enough barriers, that kind of thing. So that interview yesterday was enlightening when those restaurant workers were telling us, like, they literally got a call, like, yeah, be at the safety meeting in 2 hours. We open up right after that. And the safety meeting was like a joke, because the restaurant in Pittsburgh definitely wasn't setting up safe conditions for the workers. The fact that they had identified a positive case among one of the workers at this restaurant, but they didn't have workers go home and quarantine. They basically like closed down for a day and a half for like a clean. So these stories are just like really important. And now headed to Louisville, I think it's really important. And I ain't gonna lie, it can get frustrating sometimes because like we go out and a lot of people don't see the videos or don't see when we're live. You have outlets like YouTube suppressing channels like this. We don't show up in people's feed like CNN does. So we really are up against it to get the word out that we're doing this. But as you say, Jen, whenever people do find us, 9 out of 10 times they love this because nobody else is doing this kind of report.
10 out of 10 times.
10 out of 10 times. Correct. So that's my long-winded answer.
In my view, the trip has been so successful so far. This is the third day. It's zooming. I told Jordan earlier today, like, when you're on the road, the days just zoom by. It's crazy. But Jordan's done some incredible interviews. We've had some really great feedback. People are so excited that we're out here. And it's important. He's already detailed the stories that we've gotten. And there's something about being in the field that is so different from just doing, a Skype interview at home or talking from the computer in a studio. We don't even have studios. We just do it like in our living rooms. But it's different because you're out with the people. Jordan's been gathering contacts like crazy for setting up some potential interviews and being out, amongst the people and hearing what they're going through and dealing with and the passions and the ups and the downs. There's just something about this. This trip is so important. Obviously, we've been tired. We've been driving for so long. When we are doing all of our interviews outdoors because it's obviously there's a pandemic, so we're being very safe and wearing masks and social distancing and doing interviews outdoors. And it's so hot, and it's like there are these things that you just kind of have to deal with, even if you're tired or you're hot or you're whatever. And Jordan's been a real trooper doing these interviews. With the Terra Samples interview, I don't even know how your brain was functioning because it was the sun was beaming down on us. But that interview was so fantastic. So if you guys haven't seen that, please check it out. And I will say, as far as how the trip is going, definitely check out we made a special blog page on our website where you can see, I put little blurbs about what we're doing, and I've been posting pictures that I've been snapping along the way that you can't see anywhere else. So go to statusquo.com/road trip. So Nothera, with both of our long-winded answers, the trip is going great. I'm invigorated. It's been hard being...
What else could people do at statusquo.com/road trip?
they can also support our trip. Honestly, guys, it's really, really hard as a startup to fund in-field reporting trips. And we truly are funded by the people. And it's, there are 3 people out here. It's me, Jordan, and Jamal. And so we have hotels, we have food, we have the cost of streaming on the live view, and gas and all sorts of costs, and it really, really adds up. So we thank you guys. We've had some incredible support. Please keep it coming. If you're able to help support us at any amount, statuscoup.com/road trip, and you'll see both the blog updates there as well as easy buttons where you can support us via PayPal or Stripe. We also have our GoFundMe still up. So yeah, no, Farah, it's good. I'm invigorated because it's been really hard as journalists. I think Jordan and I are both like this, where we just we hunger to talk to the people and to get real stories out that others aren't. And so it's hard to sit at home. Obviously, we wanted to be safe in quarantine and all of that, but it's really hard to not be out there. Honestly, it's depressing.
Well, I'll just keep it real. And, obviously, the drill. Keep pressing the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, like many others, I suffer with depression. Not good. Been under control the last couple of years. I mean, I have my ups and downs, but I haven't had any severe depression for many years, thankfully. But I definitely, you have to hold it that way. I definitely have felt a little more depressed the last few weeks, because for me, my fulfillment, other than family and my girlfriend and things like that, is this job. And when you're at home, I'm working on things and I'm doing my live streams and this and that, but when you're not really able to go out there, I tend to get feeling lethargic and not as driven as I am when I could break things up and go out and cover something for a week here and there to get a change of pace. But also, I tend to feel disconnected from what's really going on in the country and the stories I cover when I'm not out there. So it's been difficult. Obviously, I don't have it as bad as others who have lost family members or, about to be evicted. But for me, as an individual, it's been difficult because for my mental health, being in, my apartment, which is a 1-bedroom, all day, every day, it's just, and even the Skype interviews, it's good, but it's really no substitute for getting out there, because getting out there gives me that. It invigorates me, and it gives you that adrenaline, also that connection when you're interviewing real people that are struggling. And it's no offense to any of the commentators who don't travel and just do commentary. There's great progressive commentators, but I think that doing this and getting out in the field gives us a much more authentic perspective when we're home on camera, just doing our daily live streams, because we're out there talking to people. We're out there covering protests. We're out there, doing those interviews from local city council meetings, or on Monday, for example, we might be covering protesters dropping off a ballot initiative or a petition in response to Brianna Taylor. There's just no substitute for that. If you're not out in the field, if you're not speaking with people, then you're just another asshole on YouTube pontificating about the same bullshit. I'm not saying everyone's an asshole, because I love Kyle and Crystal and Jimmy and Humanist Report and Rational National. It's a lot of great progressives. You don't have to be in the field to be intelligent and empathetic, but there's just too many fucking yahoos on YouTube who are far removed from the pulse of America, what people are actually dealing with. And fuck those yahoos, in my view.
Absolutely. That's what, status quo is.
Did what I say just make any sense?
It totally did. It was good. We're different. We don't say that. I said this earlier today, but we don't say that to toot our own horn. We just are. We're out in the field. We are talking to real people, and it really, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. This is the dream. And we hope we're doing some good and doing good journalism. And from the feedback, that's what people seem to say. Vicky asks...
Oh, I want to say one more thing. One more.
Never call Jordan not long-winded.
I want to say one more thing. I love it. For example, I was interviewing Tara Samples this afternoon, which, by the way, part of the great part of doing these kind of road trips is people that you will never get to see on CNN or MSNBC or quoted in the New York Times. She might just be like a local Akron, Ohio council member, but Tara Samples is a real gem. She's a real diamond in the rough when it comes to, progressives, a strong black woman, passionate, intelligent. You're not going to see her on CNN or MSNBC. How many Tara Samples are Tara? I know it sounds funny, Samples. That's actually her last name. But how many Tara Samples, who we just interviewed, are out there that don't get, a perch on CNN, that don't get quoted in the New York Times, but who their fire and their anti-establishment, feeling the pulse of America, it's very valuable to give them a microphone, to speak with them, to interview with them, to find out what's going on in their community. But I was going to say, I was interviewing Tara, and after I got an email from a viewer who lives 20 minutes down the road, who told us, like, oh, I own a breakfast kind of place. I'd love for you and Jenn to come in, free breakfast, and I'd love to tell you my story because the PPP loan is a fucking nightmare. Like, that is true, authentic grassroots journalism. It's like you're doing one interview and you find another real story. We didn't, I'm going to reach back out to her. So if you're watching, maybe we'll interview you on the way back because right now we're headed to Kentucky. But the point is, like, we're getting real people's story just by, like, in real time, authentically, a viewer with their own story going through this nightmare PPP loan scenario to get that small business loan, reaches out to us, and then we could go tell their story. So that's kind of why I find that stuff, like, invigorating and truly authentic.
Yeah, there's nothing else like it. It's so cool. And when you read that email this morning from the viewer, it really validates everything that we're doing. We love our viewers. We love absolutely everything that goes into this real journalism. Can't say enough about how lucky I feel to even be doing this. So, Jordan, good news. We got a super chat from DID, $20, saying, you guys are amazing. Stay safe and eat healthy. It's hard to do on road trips. I just ate a salad. So we're trying to be healthy. It's hard on the road sometimes, but we're definitely trying as much as possible for sure. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. And someone asked if people are wearing masks. So Vicky Blair, are most people wearing masks? I would say most people are, but definitely there have been times where I would see someone not, and it's just like, why not? What is, like, why not? Why? Better safe than sorry, right? Like, why wouldn't you wear a mask?
Yeah, because of the culture war. And to be honest with you, not all restaurants, like, the waiters are wearing masks, but they're like this, they're like that. So, like, their nose isn't completely covered. Like, I find that fucking astounding that these states have, well, even the states could have rules that waiters in restaurants have to be wearing masks, but I just find it incredible that, restaurant waiters could have their mask down, not covering their nose. I mean, I get it. It's frustrating to have to wear a mask all day. These waiters are probably working, 10-hour shifts in some cases. But it's truly reckless because you could be giving it to customers, and it's not that much to ask just to keep it covered completely over your face. I mean, I've seen it even not on the road. Like, I was saying, I was in Jersey picking something up, and the cashier kind of had it, under her nose. So that's been kind of surprising to see. Like, even in restaurants and other places, the waiters they have the masks on, but like half off, basically. But in Ohio, we've seen, I'd say when I'm outside and people are passing, 5 out of 10 people probably aren't wearing masks. Most of them look like Trump supporters, if I'm keeping it real. I'm not trying to politicize it, but they look like...
No, do politicize it. It is political.
They look like, your average Rust Belt, like some of them, white hillbillies that don't tread on me by making me wear a mask. So that's been illuminating. But, yeah, we'll see what happens in Louisville as far as people wearing masks. My guess is among protesters, they're mostly wearing masks. My guess is in other parts of Kentucky, they've never heard of what a mask is.
I think that assessment is probably dead on. Henry actually says, I never know Henry Kujua, hopefully I'm saying that right. I never noticed this before today, but Jenn actually reminds me a bit of my mom, and I know she's young enough to be my daughter if I had one. Hee hee. So that makes me feel good. Good, Henry. I'm a mom to 2 little boys, so I love being a mom. Let's see. Yes, the Mama Mobile. Shout out again to Lori. By the way, guys, behind the scenes, it started raining, so not so fun. Looking for more. I see lots of comments. Send us questions, guys. Let's see here. While I'm scrolling, remember that we have blog updates at statusquo.com/road trip. And blog updates as well as a fundraiser there. It costs a lot of money to go, and we were debating going to Louisville because it does cost money. There are 3 of us, so we really appreciate all the support that's poured in today. Keep it coming. Questions. I'm actually
a little bit of a sunstorm right now. A little bit of a sunstorm. Yeah. It was a beautiful sunny day, and now it started raining, and the rain is like starting and stopping. It's almost like God's crying about capitalism.
I think that's probably what it is. God's crying about capitalism. He's crying about people not wearing masks. Very sad. John Ward Jr. left $2 in the super chat. Farewell to America. Stay safe out there. Well, hopefully not farewell to America.
No, I think we should. You know what? First of all, we don't live in America. We live in the United Corporations of America, like we've always said. By the way, can I just tell you a little behind the scenes? How many people are watching?
180.
Not bad. Keep pressing the like button. Keep pressing the share button. Let me tell you something, okay? I purchased a United Corporations of America flag, as you see in my live stream backdrop, okay? It's the flag of America with corporate logos replacing these stars. So the company that makes them, what is that, Stars and Stripes or?
Oh, shoot. What are they called? No, that's not their name. It's like
Adbusters.
Adbusters.
The company that makes them was getting a lot of referral purchases.
A lot.
They were getting a lot of referral purchases because people were asking me on the live stream, where could I get that flag? And we would be putting in the link. So we reached out to them, I think fairly, to say, hey, can we do a little split here? Or maybe like promo code, we tell our viewers, hey, here's the link. We'll do a promo code. So type in COUP and you'll get like 10% off the flag, whatever.
Yeah, it's just affiliate marketing. A lot of companies do that.
All right. And what did they say to you?
They were like, we don't, I can't remember. They're like, we don't do we're not interested in partnerships or something like that. Like they were they were being very dismissive while trying to be kind of polite about it, I guess. But they're like, but thanks for the referrals. We're like, okay.
So what I'm going to do next time, I'm going to keep the flag, but I'm going to add to it, don't buy this. So they don't get any more referral traffic. Because you want to know something? If you're getting a 10% bump from Status Quo, I just totally made that number up, we deserve some of that money back. Just my 2 cents.
I agree. You sold a lot of those flags, and people still ask about that.
By the way, I don't know if she's watching. I do want to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
She is watching.
Because I was covering a protest. What was that? Oh, when we were about to go to war with Iran after Trump bombed Soleimani. I was covering a protest in Times Square, and my girlfriend was there with me, and she motioned me to come over because she saw a veteran holding that flag. He had a much bigger version than I did. So she spotted it first. But I don't even know why I went on that diatribe. But my point is, fuck that company for not splitting the proceeds with us. Very greedy. And but anyway, I think the 4th of July, listen, everybody loves getting together for hot dogs, hamburgers, see the family, have a couple beers. I'm hoping people aren't doing that this time because it's dangerous with coronavirus. But the reality is, you know, America has kind of become like the British that we've fled. Can we just be honest? I mean, do you feel, I don't want to speak for black people because obviously they've been a lot more oppressed than white people, but do you feel empowered in America? Do you feel like you are not under the thumb of colonial rule? You go to protests, they shoot tear gas, grenades at you. You create a little 6-block zone. Yes, there was some shootings and stuff, but by and large, I thought CHOP was a good thing. We need more spaces for community. We need more spaces, services for the homeless, services for people with mental illness, services for people, having trouble getting jobs, childcare, things like that. And in America, when you do that, eventually the police come in and stop it. I'll give you another example. Right now, the mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin, is literally trying to remove socialist champion Shama Sawant, trying to get her removed from city council because Shama Sawant had the gall to march protesters down to the mayor of Seattle's home. Shama Sawant did not lead protesters to the mayor of Seattle's home, telling them, let's get in there and fuck her up. Shama Sawant didn't lead people to her home with violence, this and that. I'm sorry, Mrs. Mayor. You are a public servant. If you are going to turn the other way, as Seattle police, like other police departments, brutalize people and act as an occupying force, if you are going to allow Amazon to buy your city while creating a homelessness epidemic across Seattle, then you want to know something? Unfortunately, you might have to have some people outside your window with signs and protesting. I'm not talking about violence. Of course, that's not okay. But now there is a call by the mayor of Seattle, a neoliberal, to try and remove Shama Sawant from the city council. This is what I'm talking about. When the people fight back, the revolving door, the neoliberal order screams, Bernie bros, they're screwing my safety, they're threatening me, this, that, the other thing. It's not threatening you to protest outside your mansion. You want to know something? Former Governor Rick Snyder, former governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, should have had more protests outside of his mansion for what he did to Flint. There's a lot of politicians selling out the people that shouldn't be left to feel so comfortable. Again, not okay to threaten, to step onside their property, nothing like that. But it just shows you, in America, the ruling class is not so different than the British rulers that basically didn't want the rebels or the founding fathers to have any freedom. I mean, in America, technically you could protest, but look at things like Standing Rock, Ferguson, St. Louis, Baltimore, the protests recently. They were literally protesting police brutality, and what was the police's response in a lot of these cities? To brutalize people. So that's my 2 cents. You don't agree?
No, of course I agree. The only thing I made a face about was you think CHOP was mostly a good thing.
I do.
This might be controversial, but I'm going to go for it. I was very, very pro CHOP Chaz at first when it started. But then it became quickly clear that it didn't seem black led. And it seemed to become more of a hippie commune that lost its focus. And so...
Is that 5 minutes we spent listening to Glenn Beck? Did that get to you?
No, I mean, so there's a difference between, white people, young white people declaring that they've taken over an area and it being a protest that is actually Black-led and actually has a focus and is actually leading towards certain goals. Now, there were definitely, because there were no leaders in CHOP, even though Fox News decided to declare that there was a warlord, which is not true. It seemed like what ended up getting the most attention and the most focus were these white young kids who seemed to think it was Coachella. Like, in my view, what I wished for was that it was fully Black-led with leaders. I guess I'm not anti-leader like some of the anarchists are, with very clear goals and a very clear message to the establishment, to Jenny Durkin. There's a reason that Jenny Durkin was okay with it at first and called it the Summer of Love and all these things, because it wasn't a true threat until it was. And the way it became, it devolved, and this didn't get a lot of attention, but there were 4 shootings in CHOP, and that's not okay. I didn't see if the second young Black man died, but these people kind of went vigilante and shot 2 young Black kids. 1 died and 1 was in critical condition last time I saw, and that's not achieving anything. So I don't want to go on like a rant about CHOP or Chaz. I think I was really excited about it at first, and I even wanted Jordan to go. I was like, this is it. Like, they're taking over. They took over the precinct. This is going to be so good. They're doing it. But then, like, I kept up on the CHOP subreddit. I made this entire Twitter list following all the most popular accounts, and it was like really discouraging because the vision got lost, and I don't think it did a thing in the end for Black Lives Matter or Black Lives. So that's my spiel about CHOP. $2 in the super chat. Thank you so much, Chris Kelly. We really appreciate you. Catherine Garrett, $20 in the super chat with a sticker. Thank you so much.
Remind folks, we appreciate your super chats. We also have a page just for this road trip that you could go to, statuscoup.com/road trip. You could check out our daily diary that Jen's doing, as well as photos that she's taking from all our interviews, little behind the scenes photos, and also you could donate there. We really appreciate it. This morning, we got a couple donations. I'm not going to lie, we really need it. I mean, to have 3 people on the road going across the country, again, hate to be a broken record, but it's expensive with hotels, the food. Obviously, we got to pay Jamal behind the camera. It all adds up. So if you have any amount and you appreciate this reporting, definitely drop in a couple bucks in statuscoup.com/road trip.
Yes, and also, whether you have funds to help us or not, check out statuscoup.com/road trip, because I've been posting behind the scenes pictures and things like that, and updates and links to the day's interviews and reports and everything. So it's like a road trip blog too. So, but if you have $5, $10, $100, any amount of bucks, statuscoup.com/road trip. Oh my gosh, Jordan. Seth Peterson coming through again. $50 in the super chat.
Seth Peterson. I'm going to have to find out where you live someday. You are not in a creepy way. But I got to take you out for a beer or whatever you like, kombucha these days. Because you've been so supportive. And I got to be honest, did he say anything?
Yeah. So Seth says, love Status Coup. Would be nice if you can interview people who have been through the criminal justice system and what their experience has been like during the pandemic. Stay safe out there on the road. F the UCA. Mass strikes now. I think that's a great idea.
I do. I agree with you. We've actually wanted to do more stuff on prisons. It's weird. Like, I get messages from some folks, like whistleblowing on a story in prisons, and then I ask them, oh, great. Will you speak, or can you direct me to somebody that knows more about this? And they go dark. This has happened like 3 times in the last month, specifically about prisons. But we will we'll try to do that for you, Seth. So we appreciate it. And honestly, you know, the contributions from Seth and other places, if you get a couple $50, if you get a couple $50 donations a day, that could cover like one day. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you get $200, in an hour, which I think this morning we got a decent amount. I don't know how much. I could cover at least a day in terms of food, that kind of thing. So keep it coming. The other thing I wanted to mention for those that don't know about the road trip is sometimes you just have to like make split-second decisions. For example, I was sent former Congressman Dennis Kucinich's number. Remember Dennis Kucinich ran for was in Congress, ran for president in 2008, anti-war guy, ran for governor of Ohio too. So I was sent his number from somebody saying, oh, he would probably do an interview with you. So I left a voicemail, I texted him, and we had to decide, like, after the interview with Tara, do we want to start heading to Louisville now? Or do we want to, like, wait around and hope Dennis calls us back? So it's like sometimes there's kind of like split-second decisions. There was other things, like a couple other stories we could have tried to do in Cleveland, but that would have meant reaching out to those people, trying to book it, staying another day. Or do you go to Louisville? We don't quite know because it's unpredictable when the protests are going to be, this and that. So it's kind of sometimes you're just like, it's hard to hit everything you want to hit, speak to everybody you want to speak to on a low budget. If we had a bigger budget, we would have stayed different places longer. But it's kind of exciting because it's kind of just getting things in real time,
Yeah, it's really exciting, and if that's the true behind the scenes though of this road trip. It's like literally we said, all right, Jordan interviewed Tara, and then it was like, okay, let's go eat somewhere and figure out what we're going to do next. Like, are we going to stay here in Ohio? Are we going to head to Louisville? What are we going to do? Are we even going to Louisville? Can we afford to go to Louisville? And in the end, it was like, all right, we've got to, you kind of follow your instincts a lot. And Jordan has really, really good, don't tell him I said this, but he has really good journalistic instincts. So, in the end, we decided that we're going to drive, a bit of the way today towards Louisville. And it's really been upsetting to me how little Brianna Taylor has been covered recently. And if people don't hold those in power to account, if her murderers are not held to account truly, then what are we doing? And if people don't put the pressure on, then it's never going to happen. And so I think, journalistically, I think it's a really good move that we're going to Louisville now.
I'd also say, the protesters are demanding for them to defund the police, or, defund the police means different things to different people. The city council just voted to increase the police budget there. So, of course, Brianna Taylor is the biggest injustice, but obviously they're not hearing the people and the protesters if they're deciding to increase the police budget in Louisville.
Oh my goodness, we have $40 in the super chat from Vicky Blair. Thank you so much. And Vicky says, thank you guys so much. You are the only journalists really in the trenches. Everybody like, share, and join. We need Status Quo to thrive and grow. Yes, absolutely. Smash the like button. We have 240 people watching right now. That's great. Please share. People need to see this. Keep your questions coming. We really appreciate you, Vicky.
God just started crying again, Vicky, for you.
Yes, the rain is not good. But I guess it's breaking down some of the heat that was around earlier. So F the Establishment asks where we're going. We're going halfway in between Louisville and Akron, Ohio, where we were. So we're going to stop and go in the hotel, which allows me, people really only see when we're live doing interviews or publishing videos or whatever. But behind the scenes, we're driving hours upon hours upon hours, or we're catching a moment at the hotel to publish videos, or to I'm doing marketing behind the scenes, or whatever. It's a lot that goes on. There's
reach out to people in the next city to try and get interviews lined up. Normally, if you have more resources and producers, while we're in the field, other people are scheduling and booking guests for the next city. We have to do everything ourselves. So like sometimes I'll be interviewing like live in an interview with somebody, and the other guests that I'm trying to get or get in contact with in other cities start texting me. So it's like you're doing interviews in real time while also trying to book the next people in the next cities. So it's a juggling act. People sometimes get mad at me because I'm looking at my phone during interviews. I would be mad at me too, but a lot of those times I'm responding to people who have been waiting to get back to me because I'm trying to line up other stories, other guests, that kind of thing.
We have $2 in the super chat from Steve Allen, who says, awesome road trip. Thank you so much, Steve. Absolutely fantastic. We have another, Josh GMG, $2 in the super chat. Chop had potential but fell off. That's exactly how I felt about it. There was so much potential there, and I don't want to discourage people were working hard, and there have been autonomous zones, around the world. It's happened before, but it's kind of untested in the U.S., I think. Historically, I'm not 100%, but for this time frame, this time period, this time in our history, it is untested, and some bad things happened, but also I think maybe some eyes were opened, and I don't want to say nothing good came of it.
To me, I guess what I was saying is like, all right, maybe CHOP had some holes in it, but I'm for the principle and the idea of people who live in communities taking back parts of those communities peacefully. I'm not saying violence, because I think history shows nonviolent protest is effective. It just takes a long time and it has to be organized. But I am for citizens who, look at Seattle. They've raised the rent 70% in 5 years. We went to cover it last year. Citizens that are native to Seattle are being pushed out because they can't afford to live there, just so Jeff Bezos could buy a 25-bathroom mansion. Okay? That's what's going on in cities across America. So I'm for the principle of citizens getting and taking back, certain block radiuses. Of course, I believe there should be leaders in movements. I'm not an anarchist, for those that are wondering. I am a proud progressive. I'm also not big on labels, to be honest, but I would consider myself progressive. But Standing Rock, for example, there was tight security. Sure, some things happened here and there in the camp, because when you have thousands of people, things are going to happen. At the highest, at Ocheti Sokoan, I think there was 15,000 people at that one camp. So, of course, things are going to happen. But overall, it wasn't like mass murder at the camp or anything like that. There was some instances that, allegations of assault or things like that, and of course you have to be cognizant of that and have protocols in place. But I guess my point is, I am for communities coming together and creating spaces for black empowerment, for mental health services, for whatever plants they were growing, for spaces for the poor or the homeless. And I would like to see that in more places in America. And frankly, I wasn't there, so I can only speculate. But yeah, there was some shootings and this and that, but there was also a lot of white supremacy chatter around CHOP. So we don't know what led to what is my point. But I think the principle of CHOP and what people like Shama Sawant are talking about is people taking back their communities, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Not with a good reminder. If you are new here, please subscribe to this channel. We have amazing interviews and videos, and we're doing stuff no one else is doing. So subscribe. Smash the like button. Get more people here. Share it. No labels with $2 in the super chat. Thank you for doing this road trip. Thank you so much for the super chat.
I think we got a couple. I don't know because I'm not looking, but I think we got a donation or two on the statuscoup.com/road trip. page.
I'm going to take a look. I'm going to go through all the super chats because they're coming in like crazy. Keep those super chats coming in. $2.
Maybe we'll just drive straight to Russia.
Let's drive to Russia. And we'll get some, if we drive to Russia, then we'll get some like chatter going about how we're Putin bots, and the corporate media will finally lift us up. Brian Frederick with $2 in the super chat. Keep tweaking lame resistance liberals. We will. Yep X with $10.
Can I just point something out? You want to get rid of Trump? Fine. I want to get rid of Trump. But the Democratic Party, the House, just passed a resolution to not allow Trump to withdraw from Afghanistan. This is the fucking resistance? I don't know what committee it was, but in Congress, the Democratic House just passed a resolution to basically tie Trump's hand. Not that Trump is going to actually withdraw from Afghanistan, but the point is, the opposition, the resistance, is now trying to make it so that the president, if he wanted to, can't withdraw troops from the most pointless, destructive, never-ending war in American history. This is the fucking resistance. I've had enough.
The resistance is
Futile.
very futile. Good choice of words. So, Yep X with $10 in the super chat. Hey, Jordan, I apologize for our last encounter a month ago now when I was called a troll. My comment was shorthand, lacking context. Wasn't expecting it to be read out. So I don't know if you remember that, but probably Yep X.
Yep X, I apologize, but I don't recall our confrontation, but I'm willing to sweep it under the rug and make amends with you, whatever it was. And by the way, I'm all for people, if they disagree with me on something, no problem. What I really don't like is these fucking assholes that email info@statusquo.com. What did that person email me earlier? Like,
they told us to fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, because I dared interview a Trump supporter who compared mandating masks to Jews being forced to wear yellow stars on their way to the gas chambers.
Tell them what you said.
That I dared, not be deferential to him, and I didn't even push back. I deliberately did not push back during that interview, because some interviews, I think it's just better to let the person verbally hang themselves. The guy was saying one stupid, conspiratorial, lunatic thing after the other, and I said, why do I need to get in a verbal altercation with this guy on his lawn, by the way, because I did approach him on his property. Let Americans see this is Trump. This is Trump's America, what this guy was saying. And the guy basically sends me a nasty message because I didn't give him a hug and tell him you're so wonderful and smart. So the guy told me to fuck off, so I wrote back to him, I just fucked off. It felt good, and now I'm back.
Jordan gets creative with some of his responses to these idiots sometimes. JK, I just want to address your comment. The lack of coverage about Brianna Taylor is a symptom of misogyny. I completely agree, and I think, it's something that everybody of every persuasion, in every group needs to think about, is the fact that Brianna Taylor is a black woman puts her story, what happened to her, the disgusting murder of Brianna Taylor, is not getting the coverage that it should. She's like a footnote. She's been made a footnote by a lot of people, even well-meaning people who are supportive of Black Lives Matter, who are allies. She's getting lost in the shuffle, I guess. And it, I don't know. I'm not one of those like uber feminist. I'm obviously a feminist, but I'm not like, oh, everybody's a misogynist, terrible pig, and all men are bad. I'm not like that at all. But I will say, in the case of Brianna,
are you a Lena Dunham feminist? Or
oh my God, I could go on for an hour about Lena Dunham.
Are you a Lena Dunham feminist or a what is it? Real Anon?
True Anon.
True Anon?
No, so he's talking about being anti-IDPOL.
I literally still don't know what IDPOL is.
Identity politics.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know these words.
no, I'm a woman, and by by some of these certain types of feminists. I think they take us like many steps back by acting so frail and fragile, and like they have no autonomy, and oh my god, the men are, you know, bringing us down. No, it's not like that. But there is misogyny out there, and the fact that Brianna Taylor is not being covered anymore by mainstream media, that she's been largely forgotten except by some very passionate activists, is a disgrace. And that's really one of the reasons why I'm so I find it so important to cover her story. So yes, I agree with you for sure, JK.
Can I say something maybe controversial?
Oh no.
It may be controversial, but I'm keeping it real. I don't necessarily think it's because, I think some of it is because she's a woman, but I also think we have become such a culture that responds to video, that because, like, look at the cases that there was no video for. You know, a lot of times, yeah, there's some attention, but they get lost in the shuffle. But the George Floyd one blew up just because, like, it's right there for 8 minutes. I think if there would have been video of the cops, like, fire, I mean, obviously you're not going to get the full video, but if there would have been something visually to look at, I mean, we see those cases where black people are getting choked out, murdered, this and that. They go viral, this and that, and it takes on a life of their own. Whereas the ones where don't have the video, like look at Eric Salgado, for example, in Oakland. The police shot at his 40 rounds at him. His pregnant girlfriend got shot too. Eric died. They say he stole the car, this and that, but that hasn't caught on. He was a Latino man. So I do think because she's a woman, it's not getting as much traction. But I also think it has something to do with the cases that have video really get precedent versus the ones that don't.
No, I think there's a lot. I'm not going to disagree with that. Obviously, people are often very visual, and people are emotionally like activated by seeing things right in front of them. What we saw from George Floyd was different than a lot of things. Obviously, we saw Eric Garner, which, by the way, no one talks about the fact that the guy who filmed Eric Garner's murder was put in jail. Like, why doesn't anyone talk about that? But anyway, with Brianna, I think it's multifactored. Yes, there was no video, but think about it. If a white middle class or upper class man, no, you like are very into wine moms lately. But if a white, like,
to be clear, I'm not romantically into white moms. I'm happily
wine, not white.
Oh, I thought you said wine moms.
Wine, yeah, wine moms.
Yeah, you said I'm very into wine moms lately. I'm just being clear.
Into calling them out. That's all.
Yes, I am into calling out wine moms. Sorry, go ahead.
just an aside. But I think with Brianna Taylor, it's multifactored because we don't have visual stuff. But the story itself is so egregious. If it had happened to a white man, where police just stormed into the completely wrong apartment while they already had the suspect in custody and just, went ahead and murdered this upper class white man, what kind of headlines would that get? And then if you substitute in a white woman, what kind of headlines would that get? And then, so if you factor in the fact that Brianna Taylor was a black woman, and you also do have to consider that the George Floyd story, the George Floyd murder, gained all of the attention for the reasons that you stated. You saw even the Trump supporter you interviewed yesterday was like, yeah, that was really bad. Like, we all saw him being murdered, and that was really awful. So her story, though, is getting overshadowed, but it's, to me, like, so egregious and just so bad. Why it should just be talked about nonstop on all the corporate media channels. Of the fact that being a cop doesn't give you license to just murder anybody for no reason. It's ridiculous. So I don't know. I see a lot of misogyny there, where I'm normally not a person who skips to that, like, oh, everything's misogynistic. No, I'm not like that. So more super chats. Max Jensen, $5 super chat sticker saying keep it up. Thank you so much, Max. Mike Blair, $20 in the super chat. LOL, God does not cry for Vicky Blair. So I guess Mike Blair and Vicky Blair, I think, are married, if I'm right. That's sweet. Well, you guys can keep chatting via super chats to each other. We like that. We're into that. Carla Curley, $15 in the super chat. Drive and stay safe, Jen and Jordan. I've been following. Thank you so much, Carla. You guys are amazing. This is great.
And folks, if you're not already signed up, make sure you're signed up to get our text messages. Text COUP to 370-370. That will get you on our text list, so you could get a text message when we're live in the field.
Yes, definitely do that. The text messages help so much. 6875 NYC, $5 in the super chat. Great road trip interviews. Thanks, Jen, Jamal, and Jordan. Thank you so much. This is so incredible. Scrolling down because we have some more. $2 in the super chat from Brian Frederick. Dems are to the right of Trump on Afghanistan. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry. I know certain people are not going to like what I'm about to say that are watching. This Russian bounty thing is complete bullshit. I said it when it first came out. And now, if you keep reading the reports, the NSA disagrees with the CIA on the evidence for these bounties. Not to mention that we've killed Russian soldiers in Syria. But putting that aside, hey, I'm not a fan of Putin, not a fan of Russia. But do you ever notice that these Russian leaks and this Russiagate hysteria always come out at a time when maybe we should be talking about economic matters? You know, Hillary Clinton, historically the most advantaged candidate ever. She had the entire political establishment behind her. She loses to an orange orangutan. Anti-establishment fervor shows people are finally rebelling against the toxic effects of money in politics. People are finally fed up with this neoliberal order that is basically politicians answering to banks, fossil fuel companies, pharmaceutical companies, and they give the middle finger to the establishment by going with Trump. And what's the answer? Let's talk about the Russian Cold War espionage thriller for 3.5-4 years. And now, during a pandemic, where people are facing eviction, where people are losing their health care, losing their jobs, in 3 weeks, unemployment extension, that extra $600 a week is expiring. Now, suddenly, there's Russian bounties. To be clear, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying as a journalist, I don't just breathlessly regurgitate what unnamed spooks from the CIA tell me is true. That's stenography, okay? So it's very possible that Putin and Russia put out bounties for Afghanistan, for the Taliban to kill American soldiers. Very possible. Honestly, I'd say even likely. So don't mistake this for like defending Russia. I'm not a Putin fan. Putin is a tyrant. He has killed journalists. Look it up. He is a homophobe. But I'm a fan of like critical thinking. You know what that is? I'm a fan of like, if CIA spooks call me, be like, oh, our intelligence says this. I don't know. The light bulb goes off like Gulf of Tonkin, Iraq. Yeah, no, we're not spying on American citizens. The drone program. The CIA, part of their training is to lie. So I don't understand why you're considered a Trump supporter or you're considered like a Russian stooge or a Russian asset if you simply say, no, I'm not going to just report that as fact. It's ridiculous. How many of these stories that Rachel Maddow, Washington Post, New York Times breathlessly hyped later came to be false? Oh, by the way, Rachel Maddow didn't cover it. Literally, it came out that the CEO of CrowdStrike, which was the third-party cybersecurity firm that was literally the first dynamo in Russiagate. CrowdStrike determined through their cybersecurity that Russia hacked the DNC servers. it just came out a couple that CrowdStrike in a private congressional testimony. The CEO said, "Oh, well, we didn't have conclusive evidence that Russia actually hacked the DNC servers. We found evidence that they, what did they say? They tried to exfiltrate, but we don't have conclusive evidence that they actually did exfiltrate the data." Oh, so you don't actually have forensic data that they took it, yet all of these stories were written and regurgitated. Everything, the first, what do they call it? The precursor to this whole thing was Russia hacked the DNC. Nobody wanted to criticize or be critical. Wait a minute, if that's so, why didn't Donna Brazil and the DNC, beg the FBI to check their servers? The DNC wouldn't let the FBI look at their servers. So all I'm saying is, be skeptical. I would be happy to have egg on my face if evidence was produced. But I think it's dangerous, and we go part of the military-industrial complex, and it being propped up and perpetuated is just breathlessly believing what intelligence agencies tell reporters.
Absolutely. Preach, Jordan.
And I know some people watching will be angry at me and don't agree with me. But I'm just keeping it real.
$5 in the super chat from Lily Rowe. My favorite coup clip. Oh God,
Sorry.
Here he goes.
Sorry, Lily, but my girlfriend and I, she's not pregnant or anything, but we both, ironically, want to name, if we had a daughter, before we met, both of us had eyes on the name Lily for a daughter. So that's fate, because her and I, being a nut, both wanted to name a daughter Lily. I just always thought it was a nice name. Go on.
That's very, very sweet. So you should feel happy, Lily. Lily says, my favorite coup clip, Miami Proud Boy clip, the guy living off his girlfriend's Social Security, but I'm glad you didn't with that guy on his lawn. Yes. And Anat says, Jen, have you read about the memification of Brianna Taylor? And you're totally right on the footnote comment. Yes, so I have heard about the Brianna Taylor memes, and I completely agree. I think with that, if people don't know what Anat's talking about, people made memes based on Brianna Taylor. Like one of them that I saw was based on Arrested Development, and so they took like the title screen of Arrested Development and changed it into something that said, arrest the cops who murdered Brianna Taylor. And so people were making memes out of I think good intentions and saying oh, Brianna Taylor's murderers need to be arrested. This is bad. And I think that chick who's the one what's that Archie comic, Riverdale. So I think the blonde chick who is the head of Riverdale posted a naked photo of herself on Instagram and to catch eyeballs, and then in the comment, in the description, she said, now that I have your attention, the cops who murdered Brianna Taylor need to be held to account. That's a paraphrase. So I think what?
I love our audience, but we're very close to our destination, and I don't want to give the CIA evidence of where we're staying. So let's give a little last call, read the super chats, one more plug for how people can help.
Okay.
Get Jamal's thoughts on the road trip so far, and then wrap.
Okay. So anyway, so basically people were saying look guys, maybe your hearts are in the right place, but Brianna Taylor's death is not a meme. So yeah, I read a lot about that. Oh my gosh, Jacqueline DeBlue, 50 pounds. I need to learn my currency. Happy UCA Day, America. I'm sending you some lovely cool degrees from London. May I also praise Jordan for his superhuman patience with Flag Guy. Love all the interviews. Thank you. And finally say, I don't know how to read Russian. Maybe it says "Niet" to Russia for me.
I cannot wait to have fish and chips with you the next time I come to London, Jacqueline. Thank you from across the pond.
We love you. You're absolutely amazing. Just such a good person. Anat's hushing you. Okay, so let me...
Wait a minute. Anat's hushing me? Oh my God. I'm going to have more... about Lily. Okay.
I think so.
I thought she was hushing me. I'm literally trying to rap so nobody sees where we're staying.
No. I'm trying to, like, I don't know where that was the thing, but she says, "Oh my God, Jordan, LOL." Let me see. So we had, thank you so much to AM Chow for your road trip fundraisers support. Thank you so much, Bertram, for your road trip fundraiser support. And guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about with, Not says Jordan, you're flattering yourself. You're not on the CIA's radar. If you guys don't know what we're talking about with the road trip fundraiser, go to statusquo.com/road trip and you will see a blog post with behind the scenes photos, including a special guinea pig. Just go take a look at him if you just like cute animals. And so I'm updating on the road trip, behind the scenes stuff, making it fun, keeping you guys up to date because you guys are funding this road trip. We really, really appreciate you. Also on that page, you can help support our reporting at any amount. Keep us going. Help us cover Brianna Taylor. Help us if you are able to at any amount at all. Statusquo.com/road trip. ASMR Ozelots with 25 sec. Love this. Wish you two had a podcast now. You know, we mean to have a podcast and we will eventually. It's just hard to find time, but we'll find time because I think that's another area where we could really take off. So I don't know. Should we wrap since we're getting pretty close? Yeah, we're pretty close.
Let's get Jamal on the mic. Get his thoughts on the road trip.
Hey guys, Jamal speaking. So far, day 3 of Status Quo road trip. Just a few words. This road trip is very amazing and enlightening. Not only do Jordan and Jenn do hard work in trenches trying to get these interviews, but I'll tell you, working behind the camera, it's a lot of hard work. Carrying this equipment in the heat, trying to get the audio and the video right for you guys, because you know I'm listening. I know it's not always perfect. I'm doing my best, but yeah, this is just amazing work. And not only do we not see reporters like Jenn in Jordan in the field, but you're not going to see many cameramen. You're not going to see many photographers doing what they do in the trenches. So I just feel very privileged being in this position, working with them, alongside them, and do whatever you can to help and support us, because like I said, working in trenches is not easy, but it's very fulfilling work, and we just want to bring the news to you guys and give the microphone back to the people. So yeah, if you can't support us in the super chats or in donations for the road trip, please, at the very least, share this to 10 people, share this to 15, 20 people, because the more you spread the word of Status Quo's work, the more we'll be seen, and hopefully we'll climb past YouTube's suppression of us. So we really appreciate all the support, you guys. Give them the mic back.
All right, we're almost at our destination. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we'll be in Louisville, Kentucky. So tonight we'll be trying to, confirm some interviews there. Don't know how long we'll be in Louisville. I guess it depends on how much in donations we make. But thank you for spending some of your 4th of July evening with us. I've renamed it the United Corporations of America Day, because that's what we are. We're not a country. We are the United Corporations of America. Follow us on Twitter if you can, at Status Quo. And we will see you tomorrow. Again, make sure you are on our text list. YouTube is not going to notify you 9 times out of 10 when we are live. You can get a text message pretty quickly. Usually the text comes 5 to 10 minutes after we're live. So sign up for our text list. It's very simply, right now, text COUP to 370-370. Text COUP to 370-370. That way you'll get a text message when we go live next. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Bye.